Good, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Mark?
Doing good.
Good.
You last one of these for a while.
I know. I know. We
not
don't
too
do
excited.
these during.
They may give us one, but they'll do one before the bowl game. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
You played in rivalry games. This, what do you know about the Iowa, Nebraska, and kind of what this means to the border war a little bit?
Yeah, I've always known that this is a huge game for Iowa. It's always been a big rivalry. I remember watching the one 2 years ago with the 2 interceptions at the end of the game that Iowa ended up winning that one. I feel like every game has been close, at least in the past couple of years. So it's always been a lot of fun. There's a lot of heated, bad blood between the teams. I'm looking forward to Saturday. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Is that stressed from Coach Ferentz? Like Iowa has won and dominated the series lately, but every game outside of maybe one has been within almost like a touchdown.
Yeah, I don't know if he's stressed it too much, but there's just one thing that he always talks about is just playing in the Big Ten. You're always going to be playing against tough teams. It's always going to be no win comes easy. It's always going to be a tough game. You always got to be on your P's and Q's and just be ready to go whenever you're playing any team in the Big Ten.
Nebraska's rush defense is much worse than its pass D, so how can you take advantage of the run D?
Yeah, I mean, we got one of the best offensive lines in the country, and I think Logan just up for the Outland Trophy, which is awesome. I'm so happy for him. But when you got guys like that up front, we can continue to pound the rock. We got great running backs. Receivers are good at blocking as well, so we're going to continue to attack that. And once those safeties start to come down, the guys start to kind of anticipate run. That's when we can really start hitting them and create some big plays that way.
When you look back at your tape the other day, what did you see and what could you have done better? Maybe where did you? I mean, obviously, you came through at the end there too.
Yeah, and what sucked is, again, in that game, it felt like it was part of the reason against USC as well, is that there's just little execution things. We need to have 11 guys doing the right thing, 11 guys doing their job, and sometimes when you have one guy off, all of a sudden a run that could be 20 yards ends up being a 3-yard gain. So it's just little things like that, or just me being sometimes more aggressive on some of the pull looks and me inserting myself into the game, into the run game as well. But just being able to just stay calm through all those third downs. We were only 10% on third down, so just being more efficient on that side of things and either just checking down to the running back when we need to, and hopefully that he just makes a guy miss and turns it into a first down, and just kind of just trusting your reads and just going through, I guess, the whole progression.
That 29-yard completion to Reese in my rewatch, I saw they had one deep safety. I mean, I imagine you were just licking your chops.
I was. We called the play, and Reese technically has an option on that play, and I was just super excited because it was the first time they finally pressed him all day. Saw the one high safety just drop back, made sure that he stayed in the middle of the field, and then took my one-on-one to Reese. It was basically the one opportunity we got to take a good one-on-one shot that day, and took advantage of it. And then the other time we got a one-on-one shot, it was to Gill, and then he scored the touchdown on that. So as many one-on-one shots we can get, especially going into this week, a team that loves to play a lot of cover one, we're going to try and take our shots when we can.
You guys will play in a bowl game, but have you gotten the sense from this team that, finishing out the regular season with a win, just having that better taste in your mouth, going forward, for the next month, is you gotten that feeling from the leaders that you got to get this win here?
Yeah, I think it's just part of the Iowa standard that we have here, that there hasn't been a drop off in practice, a drop off in attitude, and when people are showing up every day, that they're ready to work. And when you have leaders like that, when you have, everyone on the team is acting that way, it makes me feel good knowing that we're going to have a good week. We're going to go into this game ready to go and prepared to win the game. And we want to obviously have that win. We can go get to 8-4 and then kind of have that good long, I guess, multiple bye weeks is just before the bowl game, which I'm not used to, but I'm looking forward to, and hopefully getting guys better and kind of trying to leave my legacy in that way to the younger guys.
Are you able to run? I mean, what's the status of your knee, I guess, after it's been a while now? We haven't asked you about it for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. It's obviously you're going to continue to have bumps and bruises throughout the season. You're never going to feel 100%, especially when it's week 14 at this point. But I feel really good. I feel comfortable in all the run game stuff, and we're going to continue to, I guess, implement me in that way.
With the offensive line a little bit banged up right now, do you have to make adjustments in your mind with how you certain calls? Reads of the line or anything?
Yeah, there's some certain situations, and I think the coaches have done a great job of, I guess, where players are having maybe some deficits that we're trying to stay away from those things and really kind of lean on the strengths of the guys and lean on, I guess, to run in certain directions. But I think the guys have done a great job of, especially just being in the training room and trying to get better, have the better rehab, and I feel like they're pretty healthy now after coming off that
Okay.
game, and they've done a good job. And we're going to just try and do attack, I guess, just normally how we always do. Yeah.
You look at the Nebraska secondary, and I don't think they haven't gotten many interceptions, just 5 or 6, but overall the numbers are really good. Just when you watch them on tape, what stands out that makes them a good group, even though they aren't getting a lot of turnovers?
Yeah, I mean, they get hands-on a lot, and that's one of the big things for them is they're playing a lot of man coverage, so they're trying to be aggressive, and sometimes they end up getting some penalties out there, but that's what happens when you're mostly a man team trying to play aggressive, and they make it really hard on just receivers trying to make a play on the ball. And I mean, that's why they have been so successful in the past game. And they sometimes try to confuse some things. As for the quarterback, they try to bring some pressures, trying to heat you up, so you got to get the ball out quick. And again, that also makes it easier because the receiver or the DBs don't have to guard as long. So that's some of the things that they do to try and help them in the pass game, I guess.
You talked a little bit about rivalries and just how close they are. But I mean, I've always wondered, why are rivalry games so close? Like Michigan, Ohio State, no matter who's better, whatever, it just seems like these games are always so close. Why do you think they are?
I think that's a great question, because even like you got to think back to even like when you're a young kid and you're playing against your brother in the backyard, like how you always try to think like your older brother may be way better than you, but for some reason sometimes it always feels a little bit closer because there's just a lot more emotion into the game, and you're pouring a lot more just, I guess, passion and emotion into that, and maybe that kind of alters your thinking, clouds your thinking a little bit, but overall it's still just a game. You still got to go 1-0. You still got to prepare the same way, but it's just, I think it is that emotional thing, especially like in the Michigan Ohio State game every single year, which is always really cool.
Those one-on-one throws,
Yep.
how much of that is just trust in your receiver? I mean, because we haven't seen a ton of those types of plays this year. I imagine the trust is something you've had to cultivate throughout the year, but how much of that is trust?
Yeah, and part of the reason we haven't got as much of that is a lot of teams are playing a lot more zone against us, just because I'm a running quarterback. When you're playing cover one, you don't have a guy for the quarterback to go get the quarterback. That guy's the one high safety that's 20 yards downfield.
Gotcha.
So when teams are running the zone, we don't really get as many one-on-one opportunities, but when you got that one, just like we did in that game, it's at the end of the game, you got to make a play. And I trust Reese that he's going to win more than 50-50, more than 50% of the time on any of those 50-50 balls. So just giving him an opportunity, giving him a chance, he's going to come down with it, and obviously he did in the game.
More of the early season struggles in the passing game, how much of that would you say had to do with not having a big body guy like Reese?
I think it definitely helps having him, because, again, when we get some of those one-on-one opportunities, it's really easy to take advantage of it, like we did on Saturday. And it's just a lot easier sometimes to throw to some of those bigger targets. You got a lot more area of, I guess, to catch and everything like that. But I think it wasn't just not having a big body, but it's just also just not the trust factor, but continuing to understand how the receivers are all running their routes, and everyone runs it a little bit differently. And it was kind of just getting into a feel of everybody, I guess, building the better connection and better relationship with everybody.
This game tends to be a pretty close one every year. What's your